Welcome to the Untrapped Podcast, where we're motivated and inspired about success, small business, and personal development. And now, Keith Kalfas.
I'm fired up. I hope you're fired up. We have a special podcast for you now. We have Joel Kouski from Kouski Landscaping, built a $2 million business with 20 employees. And dude, I have called up Joel, in times where I needed help with my business. And Joel took the time aside for me to walk me through like a customer service issue of exactly precisely how to detach emotionally and see things from a higher perspective to serve the customer at a high level. And I did what Joel said, and it not only made my customer happy, it made me money and got me more work. Like, I really appreciate Joel. First time I saw him was like years ago, maybe 2017. Social media. I met him in person at Atlanta, the most genuine dude ever. And he's the balance between like, he loves Jesus. You can see behind him. He loves God, and he's also an entrepreneur, and he knows how to walk this line of being a humble and open and genuine. Bro, thanks so much for being on the Untrapped Podcast, and I'm happy to see you here. Man. And also, one more thing. This show is brought to you by Jobber. If you need an amazing software to run your business on, now is the time. You get a totally free 2-week trial to implement this CRM into your business. It's really easy and just like, wow. And it's try it for free. If you want to sign up, you get a huge discount with my exclusive link. Just open up your browser and type in getjobber.com/Kalfas. And then also next week, Joel is going to be our special guest on our private breakthrough mentorship group, where we go live in a private environment off of social media and we work on our business. It's called the Untrapped Alliance. I'm very excited. He's going to be on that as well. And you can learn more by going to keithkalfas.com/alliance and becoming a member today. Without any further ado, what's up, Joel?
Hey, man. It's really good to see you again, Keith.
Dude, you had these videos, man, on it's like Instagram Reels and TikTok, where you're just speaking life into people and encouraging them. And I know I see your new YouTube channel where you're going deep on sales, and your entire angle is like, I very resonate with it. So what's on your mind, bro?
Yeah, man. When I did that on Instagram and TikTok, Snapchat and YouTube last year, it was a seasonal thing, man, because it was on my heart. I genuinely felt like I think people need to just hear you're doing a good job. Period. No angle, no funnel, no landing page. Just, hey, bro, if it's got to be across the internet, just want you to know, man, you're worth every struggle you're going through right now. I love you. Great job. So it turns out that I've actually gone back and watched some of my own videos, man, because sometimes I needed the encouragement, So I think that was an impactful season, and it really comes down to, like, we're all just people. At the core of business, at the core of all of it, we're just people, man.
That's amazing. Hey, everybody, a couple times Joel's mic sounded like it went out, like it was cutting in and out. Are you getting that too, or is that just on my end? Let me know, everybody know in the comments. And your son, I heard everything saying it a couple times, your mic cut out, and I wasn't sure if it was me or you. So you say people need to hear, bro, you're doing a good job, man. You're putting forth effort. You're like, what is the emotion that comes up that made that come to the present, to the surface for you to say, I want to speak that and inspire people?
Well, in my business, I've wanted to beat my face against a wall enough times that it's pretty, I don't know, man, as an entrepreneur, a lot of us, it's pretty easy to feel the void that we're trying to fill. And it's really easy to feel the lack. And it's hard to shake that feeling sometimes. But then if you got a good friend that just comes alongside you and says, hey, man, everything okay? It's like, it just makes everything better. Well, I'll tell you what, bro, when you're an entrepreneur and you're shooting for the moon, a lot of times we don't have that. It's like you're on the top of the mountain, but you're also stranded on a desert island at the same time. So we're people. We're not robots, man. And, you can strategize all you want, business and everything, but at the end of the day, it's encouragement, empowerment that actually fuels people.
I got an idea. Can you bring your mic closer to your mouth? Maybe it's triggering a noise cancellation algorithm software thing.
Sure. Yeah. Let me throw this in.
It'll sound like you're underwater for like intermittent 0.5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I know what it feels like. There's times in my business where I was flying and everything was, I don't know, crushing it. And I felt the most isolated and alone and even depressed, bro.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember the month I made the most money I ever made in a month in my entire life was actually one of the worst months of my life. And I didn't even care. I'm like, wait, wasn't this supposed to be a dream come true? I'm like, this was horrible. It's weird how that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's real, and that's not the stuff that people post on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like we see everybody's highlight reels, but we don't see the crying in the corner. We don't see the defeats, and we don't see you don't see anxiety, but we carry it and we take it home and then try to deal with our own family and friends and stuff while we got the knot there. And that's just real. What, there's an HVAC company here where we're at. This guy just bought the company for millions and millions of dollars. They have 500 trucks. Okay. 500. And I asked him, it's just one dude who owns all of that, and they're super profitable. And I asked him, like, man, I'm just down here kind of at the bottom trying to figure out how to make it work, man. Someday I'll be at your point, where the anxiety just isn't a big deal anymore. And he threw his head back and laughed out loud. And his wife that was in the other room threw her head back and laughed out loud and said, boy, if you only knew. And we talked for a while. And what he told me is the same problems that we're having now. It's just the same problems there too. Yeah, stakes can get bigger because dollars get bigger, but the problems don't go away. They might change form, but they're never just absent. I think that's a lie that makes all of us chase success a little bit more. You see, because it's like, if only I get there, then this will go away. Well, then your whole life's just kind of a reaction to the crap you're going through, man. That's no way to live,
So,
I don't know. You want me to be real? I can.
No, I love this.
I could give you shiny stuff, but this is the reality of it. And I think that anybody who's listening to this tries to say that it's not.
So,
tripped and fallen,
in my experience, this is an experiment. I see the pendulum shift, like it goes back and forth from like soaking wet to bone dryer to like you have these moments of total bliss.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the most fulfilling part of your business and everything in your business from like I'm sure when you got started, you struggled all the way to get to where you're at, and you've been through highs and lows. And what's times where you've like really messed up or things were messing up, and how did you handle them?
Yeah. Well, to your first question, the thing I love the most about entrepreneurship is just the freedom of it all. I can get an inspiration. I mean, come on, man, we live in America. Like, we can just do it. We can just act on it. People like to act like there's all these constrictions, but it's really kind of just a fear thing manifest. Like, we really don't have people trying to kill you around every corner, like actually kill you. People might not be for you, but man, it's literally land of the free. I love the freedom of entrepreneurship. On the other side of that coin, though, that's also been one of the biggest problems in entrepreneurship, is that I just got so much freedom. There's not somebody standing over my shoulders saying, hey, that's going to ruin the next 5 years of your life, dude. Don't do that, And even if they were, we're just hard charging, it's hard to listen to that stuff. So the freedom's great, but you got to get that guy with 1,000 helpers mentality out of your mind. It's kind of what I learned. Like, that was just a major crash and burn for me. The thought that when I build my skills and I get better, that somehow that means my business will get better. Man, if I could ever win an award, Keith, it would be for overcomplicating things.
Right? Talk about that.
Dude, well, look, business is simple. It's like, I'm doing this to make money. And people are like, oh, I'm doing it for impact and future and opportunities. Like, no, dude, okay, sure. But which one of those do you point at? Like, which one's the priority? Let's say impact. Let's say you just focus everything you do on making impact. Well, but you don't focus on making money in your business. Well, then you're not going to have any engine through which you can have an impact. You see, like, business needs to just be business. It's the way you do what you do every day that will have an impact. You see what I'm saying? And that's, you were talking about in the intro about Jesus and the cross and all this sort of stuff. That's not a finish line for me. Like he was the finish line. Like, he did all that sort of stuff. I just get to live it out every day. That's being a Christian, a little Christ-like one. It's just, it's what I look like as I do whatever it is I'm doing. You see? So, if I were to simplify the business thing and maybe put a lot of people's mind at ease here, just go make money. Just let that be it and drop the rest of the pressure. You're going to have impact. You're going to have influence. You're going to have all the other stuff that you dream of, but just keep it simple with the business thing.
Bro, I just feel like when you just said that, I don't know about anybody else here, and I know this podcast is for all you guys, but for me, I felt like they just cut like a bunch of weights that were on me and they just dropped.
Good, man.
Wow, that was crazy.
Can I say something else along those lines?
Yeah, pour gas on it, bro. Let's go.
Well, I had an ego problem, because to think that my impact, influence, satisfaction, and all that was gonna flow from just me in every moment by moment choice I made, it's really just an ego problem. Like, now I'm trying to control everything around me. Why? Because honestly, man, I was scared of messing up. I got good at sales because I was afraid of people saying no to me. I wasn't some just like natural guy. Like, I wrote a sales book. I didn't get that information, that technical knowledge, whatever you want to call it, from just practicing and studying all that sort of stuff. No, dude, I was completely freaking scared of the confrontation, the knot in my stomach I would get whenever a customer was like, no, I'm not giving you $28,000 for that. So I just got really good at making sure that I prevented all of that. And I just stumbled upon a really beautiful way of selling, putting the customer first and being completely ethical, So, but understand, that was my fear that I didn't ever need to have in the first place. And so many entrepreneurs are driven by that fear. I mean, how many of you right now, I'd love to know how many people in the chat right now, in the last week, it's come out of their mouth, I got to provide for my family, man. I got to make sure there's food on the table and all of that. Everybody says that sort of thing. But I mean, that's noble. But it's like you're driving a car and looking in the rearview mirror, just like, you know what I mean? Like you're missing the direction you're going. Well, what if we focused on the direction and let the money just be made? Right? We can't be driven by fear, man. And many entrepreneurs, including myself, every time I do a coaching call with somebody, man, it's all you hear is just fear coming out. And I get it. Like, every mistake you're ever gonna make in your life lies in the future, and people are terrified of that. I get it. But every success you're gonna have is in the same place. So, pick one to look at, not the other. Easier said than done, but
Can you do me a favor?
yeah.
Take your phone out, put it on airplane mode, turn on the recorder app, and then record you talking and send me the recording after, because your voice is going out every 8 to 9 seconds intermittently for like a whole second. And it sounds like you're underwater. It's like, hey, what's up? I'm talking like this, and I'm really talking about this. And you can hear what you're saying, but there's a technology issue going on. So if you send me the recording when it comes out on the actual Untrapped podcast on Apple and Spotify, then I'll just have my producer put this piece of it'll be great, dog, and then we'll continue talking.
Sure. Yeah.
Bro, that's amazing. The first few minutes of you talking, I was like, where's he going with this? And then I realized that you're in a different place in your journey. And so what I'm learning is like I'm a dude, Joel knows what he's talking about. This is why this dude's on the podcast right now. And then as I just kind of like listen to what you were talking about and let go of whatever script is running in my head, I was taken to see from the vantage point of what you're talking about, and it created like a release for me that gave me a whole bunch of clarity. And I hope that's the same for anybody else listening, if you could pick up on that, bro. It's Scott Dorn, everything. Let's get into the comments just real quick. Devin Ivanovich, how are you? Says, thanks for your content. So awesome. Dan DeSanto. What's up, bro? Hope you're feeling well. What's up, buddy? I saw you on Facebook earlier. Tigran Gertz. What's up? I was just, I missed your call earlier. Tigran, I called you. He missed my call. Then I called. Anyways, hope you're doing well. I see he's doing some cool projects on YouTube. Brian Simmons, Scott Dorn. Definitely yes. Tommy Lee Houston, how are you? Good evening. Keith K and guest, good evening. Michael Douglas II, he says he's laughing. Scott Dorn says everything right now wants to fall apart. Truck and equipment problems, etc. Oh yeah, the spring when stuff's falling apart and breaking down. It's like, so
yeah.
What comes to mind, man? I could ask you a million questions. I've got pre-scripted questions, but I want to flow.
I just, I don't want to get too heavy on telling people how to ever do stuff. I think there's a lot more in people than what they realize. And I think a lot of people here don't need to hear anybody else tell them how to do something. They just need to kind of maybe have a little life breathed into them, Let whatever's in there come on out. And I know that can sound kind of touchy-feely, Yahoo, but man, if you don't believe that something good is in there, you're going to just be following somebody who you think is better than you for a long, long time. Like eventually, and there's no problem with learning from people. But I mean, when do you stand on your own 2 feet? When do you decide that that's what you're going to do? Tigran decided. And we all follow him. But see, he just stood up one day and said, I'm going here. And I admire that about him. He put his stake in the sand and he didn't look back, man. So I think a lot more people need to do that than to find another strategy or tactic.
Ooh. I was spinning my wheels bad a few years ago, and I hired a consultant. And I kept giving all the reasons why it wasn't working. And he was able to identify something huge to me. I basically just kept going and buying more tools and getting more information and more coaching, consulting, and more. Like, I guess I was afraid of failing and just going all in. And so I kept staying like on top of the surface and doing a whole bunch of stuff and testing, because was over diversification. I call it diversification out of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like almost like having too many services or something like that. It's interesting when you can get a glimpse on it. And who was it? James Clear, Atomic Habits. He says the highest level of efficiency is actually deleting completely and eliminating stuff that isn't working. So if it's springtime and stuff is breaking, what were you going to say?
Well, Well, yeah. But you got to have something to delete. The only reason you have something to delete is because you tried something and it didn't quite work right. So if you're afraid of failure, you're never going to have anything to delete. You see what I'm saying? So you like have some belief in that inspiration, and you get out and go do it, go try it. And I mean, gosh, I would have been so much further along had I just gone out, tripped, failed at something, and then got over it and got back to business. Do you know Phil Soros?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking with him on the phone one time, and he was actually coaching. He was coaching me for a season, and he told me, he's asking all his questions about the business, and we were at like, I don't know, $1.5 million a year at that point, and he said, "What's your most profitable thing that you do?" I thought, I don't know. I hadn't really thought too much about that, but I mean, it's $1.5 million, man. And dude, we just did this amazing job, and we got this pool thing going in soon. It's so cool. He's like, yeah, but which jobs make you the most money? And I couldn't answer him. It's like, honestly, I don't think I was in it for that. I was always, what's next, what's bigger, what's better, what's bigger than that, and then what's bigger than that, and oh, this will look really cool, I can't wait to tell somebody about this, and when they see this, I'm going to get all these new customers. But I didn't have any more profitable of a business. So what Phil taught me in that was, maybe you ought to find that out. And some of y'all are probably thinking, like, dude, what was this guy thinking? Well, that's just where I was. And it wasn't until years later when I actually got my numbers figured out. See, I got to 2 million a year before I ever started figuring numbers out. God only knows how we made it that far. But I'm telling you, man, I waited way too late to start doing some of those things. And it was just a lot harder, to kind of change the tire while the car was moving and get some of those things figured out after the fact. But Phil really helped me in that, and helped me zero in on what was actually important. And I had to get over my own ego and stop doing some stuff that we just weren't good at. Tell you what, man, business got a lot easier when I got over myself. That's for sure.
I love it. I think I had Phil on the podcast before. I remember I was in my truck on my laptop with Wi-Fi hotspot, and he was walking through something with sales, and he was cutting through all the fat and getting right down to the point. It was very, very crystal clear the way he saw it and how he had systematized his business and figured out what worked and what didn't.
For sure. I had around that same time, I was in an attempt to get my numbers figured out. I called in a financial advisor, and specializing in small business, local guy. His name was Randy Lane, and he sat down at the desk in front of me, and he got his notepad out, and he's got his pen there ready to write. I started telling him all my problems. Man, I don't know where my money's at. I know we made it. I see this on this form and that on that report, and he's listening with his pen, and I kept going and going. He wasn't writing nothing, and finally he just kind of set his pen down and slid the notebook aside, and I said, "What, man? Like, what's the deal? I'm over here about to get emotional, and you're not even taking notes." And he said, "Well, you actually don't have a money problem, Joel." So, what do you mean I don't have a money problem? Look, don't you see what I'm telling you? He said, "Yeah, you don't have a money problem, man. You have a CEO problem." He said, "You see, your company needs a CEO, but all it's got is you." And that stung a little bit. I realized that just being the operator, not actually growing a business, having a $2 million top line, but not actually having a business, got my attention, man. So I went on this quest at that point to actually build a business, and I went all in on that part and got some great systems, some great automations, and it's allowed me to go to ministry school these last several years out of state while my business continues to operate, with its ups and downs, of course. But that was some really healthy advice I got, man. It was a gut check, but all of that helped me get over myself,
It's funny. you say this and it makes perfect sense. And I can almost hear some of the people listening that might say, yeah, but what if you're not even making enough money yet to even pay people the proper amount? Because if they wouldn't hire, they don't even make enough money to hire a CEO or to let alone pay some of their employees a living wage. So then you got to reverse engineer and find out what is like how did you buy yourself the time to put systems in while running around? I'm just supposing, like you say, like a chicken with your head cut off, doing all these crazy things at once, context switching. How were you able to start putting systems in while being so freaking busy running this business?
I mean, I only got 2 hands and 2 feet, man. I just picked one, and spinning plates fell, and crap didn't work right because I had been doing it wrong for a long time. So what did I expect? Just start doing the right thing and everything, and it all manages itself? No, it doesn't look like that. It looked like stuff didn't work. It looked like I wasn't in the field as much, which meant more guys made mistakes, which meant I had more problems on the back end. But I was betting on the fact that I had to build some systems. I had to build some automations. And until those things happened, I just was going to continue repeating the same thing that always did happen. So I just kind of pulled the plug on it and committed to dealing with whatever happened. And it was rough. Some guys quit. I remember one of my guys punched another one because the guy got a bee sting and he just got really mad about it. And the other guy made fun of him, so he punched him. And this was all during that time. I had him sit in my office. I was like, what are you guys doing, man? Like, you got a freaking bee sting? It's like, what are you crying about? But that was all during that season because I wasn't there and stuff was just happening, digging up stuff at the wrong house. I mean, just all the stupid stuff, and but I had to get it built.
Digging started happening at the wrong house.
Bro, I'm telling you, if I had $1 for every time I assumed that the guys would have common sense, and let me tell you, I got amazing employees. I got smart employees. But you just assume that stuff is common sense, and then it turns out it's just not, And so, how do you deal with that? You build another system. How do you deal with that? You build another system, and you get enough of those things going, and you realize, I think this might be working a little bit.
I created a group called the Untrapped Alliance where we go live every other Wednesday night in a controlled environment. I'm sick of scrolling on social media. I'm sure you are too. Let's get focused on our businesses. We already started the group, so if you join at keithkalfas.com/alliance, you can get access to the replays. And the bonus is we're gonna have special guest experts who run multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses. They're going to come on and teach us how to do sales, marketing, persuasion, close higher ticket jobs. These are people who got their shit together. And I'm really excited to have them on. Go to keithkalfas.com/alliance. I'll see you on the Wednesday night call. Let's go.
Like something I tell my kids, they're like, Dad, it's going to be really hard. I'm like, well, yeah, so is being broke. Yeah, like pick your suck, which, like, do you want the bad from not having the good results, or do you want the bad from it being uncomfortable, And yeah, gosh, I wish I just had something shiny. Like, I promise I'm not some depressing person, but dude, it's like, it sucks. We know it. A lot of it's hard, but just pick your path. Like I was talking about Tigran, just decide. The sooner you just decide and do it, you're going to start getting results. But the more you sit back and don't take action, and you just want something to be different, that thing you don't want to happen ends up just getting worse, man.
Man, you're spitting just so much truth. Steve DeHunt showed up in the comments. What's up, Steve? I love you, brother. I was just thinking about Steve a minute ago, and he popped up. What's up, Steve? All right, man, this is amazing.
Ask me some questions, bro. I could just go a million directions here, man. I want to keep this relevant for you and the guys watching too.
All right, I love it. How about this? Here's a question. I used to get really frustrated, and I'd be like, what do you mean you're supposed to put God first and then your wife and your family and all these things in business down here? I freaked out until I came home and my wife was talking about throwing around the D word. And I was like, and then I basically learned there isn't any other way. But sometimes your brain, when you are literally working 80 hours a week and stuff is breaking down and you're scrambling to survive and everything is about the next dollar, that survival mode can take control of you and years goes by. How do you, when you learn these hard lessons, how do you prioritize?
Well, I'll tell you what I did do, and then I'll tell you what I do now. I drank, I yelled, I took it out on my kids, I blamed my wife, I blamed the economy, I blamed my employees, I blamed the weather, how hot it was, how cold it was. It just, I didn't own it. You know, I was a dick because of all the things you just listed, because it's stressful. I was the wrong guy for all the right reasons, you see? Just, I had to own it, man.
Bro, that needs to be a short. I want everybody to hear that right now. Joshua Latimer one time told me, and I want to stay on this track. He said, some of these guys that are entrepreneurs, if in time he's coached a lot of people and things fall apart, yeah. Some of these guys still don't own up, and they say, I gave her everything. I did everything for them, and that ungrateful and this, and they still don't see it, even after everything's fallen apart. It's like, whoa, like when are you gonna see that it's a script, it's a story that starts running, and you can't interface with it. Like, what part of this is it's tough, bro. But what made you see it?
Well, rock bottom. That's what made me see it. Okay. I just look. I've my when I was a kid, my dad described me as the kid who had to pee on the electric fence to see if it was turned on. You know, I just never took anybody's word for it, and that's got its goods and bads. But I had to just get really bad off before I realized that, oh man, I'm not healthy, I'm not doing good. Had to have some breakdowns. Had to be in the hospital. I had to bounce off the ground a couple of times. But this is what I've learned, that order of God, family, work, and all that needs to be. It sounds like this. While I live my life and make money at my work, I'm going to give all that I can to the people that matter most to me, including myself. How do I do that? By living out God, the character of Jesus, in every interaction I have. And if I focus on my character in any kind of scenario, be it, look, my son and my wife were just having an argument, like right here. That's why I was late to the show, bro. And it's like, okay, what do they need right now? Do they need stretched out Joel? I'm like, guys, I was supposed to start 10 minutes ago. No, they literally asked me, Joel, do we need to get out of here so that this podcast can start? And I said no. And if I need to shut it off, then that's what we're going to do. I don't want to do that to you, but I'm willing. But instead, I kept my cool. I kept my peace. I was patient. And I said, guys, what do you say? We just, everybody cool off here for a minute. And when we're done here, we'll pick it back up.
Dude, I love it. Yeah.
Because that right there is, I'm prioritizing God by acting like him. I'm prioritizing God by acting like Jesus, like his character, what a Christian's supposed to look like in the first place. And I don't always get it right, so just don't let me paint that picture for you. But to prioritize God can only happen when you're in those difficult situations, when you're in those interactions. See, I think a lot of people try to get that order right so they don't have those interactions. No. It's prioritize God by going through those difficult things and letting him shine through. That's the order, in my opinion.
Mm.
And I'll tell you why people don't like that is because you can't put your finger on it. You can't put it in a spreadsheet. It means you got to check yourself and see, am I a patient man when I just worked 80 hours and my wife is yelling at me? And you got to own the answer to that thing. That's how I figured that out, Keith. But instead, I wouldn't own it. I would just put another mask on, drink it away, whatever. So just own it, man. Everybody loves to listen to these motivational videos on YouTube
reels,
about owning it, owning it all. Just take it, grab life, and maybe own the fact that you were just a douche to somebody that is actually your biggest supporter.
Dang. Yeah, some people get this thing where they feel like people are out to get them, even their spouse. They feel like nobody supports them. But if you look, I'm freaking, and I just turned 42 last week.
Wow.
And the revelations I got when I turned 40, like something shifted into a different gear. It felt like the Matrix, the scripts and the stories that were running Keith Kalfas, who was trying to do all these things so I can be somebody, so I can be significant. So therefore I'm not unworthy or whatever. I don't know what it is. All that stopped and I just kind of like woke up.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And I became, I don't know if I would call it depressed, but it's very odd to interface with reality with, I guess, like the light shined in through the ego more. And I started looking, and I was like, wait a second. My wife is my biggest supporter. She's literally got my back, even if it hurts, even if she has to say something that feels cutting to get to me, to save me from myself, from doing, I don't know, stupid stuff on social media. I go on the wrong path or something and she'll catch me, right? Because I can be a practical jokester on social media, and I want to go all the way. Just like at the beginning of this podcast, I put on a gold chain just for a goof. But so and she has a lot of discernment and stuff like that. And so she's actually on my side. It's like, it's this amazing thing how people become addicted to their struggle. So you got like all this going on. And then you have to be mature enough and have the patience to talk to customers and to employees and to your family. And you have to be the leader. You have to be the example the whole time. What have you learned from that?
Well, that I don't have to be. I don't have to be all those things.
What?
No, I don't have to.
Tell me more.
Well, because remember that, like, the start of the conversation, we're talking about being free. I don't have to. I can do whatever I want to do. I don't have to. I don't have to be a leader. I don't have to be an example. I don't, because all that language does is it puts piles of pressure, bricks on my shoulders. And that's the crap that I had to let go. I don't have to. It's not a show or performance. I'm not going to put on my leadership hat. I'm not going to put on my CEO hat. I'm going to do my best. Again, like, y'all are going to think I'm just hyper religious. No, I have a compass pointing toward the character of the Lord, and it's become apparent to me that whatever situation I'm in, it will be better if I can act out the character of Him. Pick any situation. A business negotiation, my wife says she wants a divorce, my kids are fighting, screaming at each other, getting kicked out. I don't pick it. If I'm carrying love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control, then tell me how it won't be better with me being there. Right? So I don't have to be a thing. I need to just do whatever I'm doing the right way. By the way, Jesus said, I am the way.
Did Jesus carry bitterness and resentment?
No. So what's all the weights that people are carrying? Well, I got to this and I got to that. I got to this. Well, yeah. Yes.
I agree. Yeah, you ought to be making money. You ought to be leading, but the way you lead isn't by just trying to lead. Just like the way you have impact isn't by trying to have impact. You don't become an influencer by trying to be an influencer. You add value to something. And it turns out the byproduct of that is some kind of influence. Well, it turns out if you want to be the best positive influencer in the world, just manifest that stuff in any situation you're in and watch how the tables turn in your life. So I don't mean to pop off at you that hard, man, but I think I think we're trying to be a lot of things for good reasons. But what if trying to be that thing in the first place is actually the thing holding you back? Just take the pressure off, man. See, remember Jesus also said, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Like he's not going to heap those things on us, you know?
Scott Doran says, I do have these things going on. The Dutch Cut says, my wife keeps me grounded too. He also says, man, easy to say, but hard to do.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And let me tell you what, I began practicing this stuff, you know, a while ago, all this stuff I'm talking about. And you know, because I yelled at my kids all the time. And matter of fact, my kid had a soccer game a year ago, and I yelled at him so hard for not telling his coach thank you in front of everybody. He was just like, he's an amazing kid, but I just let him have it, man. And now here we are a year later on that same the anniversary of that soccer game, at another soccer game, and he goes, Dad, you remember this game a year ago? He held on to that. And he was like, Dad, things a lot different now. And that's what I want, man. But see, over this last year of becoming like that, I had to blow it a bunch of times and then sit on the couch and go grab my kids and say, I'm really sorry that I just even got that tone with you guys. That's not the way that you should be getting talked to. And how'd that make you feel? Well, Dad, I felt pretty worthless. You know what, son? You have a lot of worth. You have a lot of value. I'm sorry that I took that away from you. I had to get humbled a lot. Bro. So we're like, well, how is this about business? How do I make money with all that? Well, I'll tell you what, when I got that level of humility, it's amazing the things that stopped mattering to me. Like, am I going to this? Am I going to that? Do I have to this? Am I going to have enough money for that? Well, maybe not. But I have peace inside me right now. And it turns out that was the catalyst toward action, not anxiety. Oh,
dang,
yeah,
homie.
Easy to say, hard to do, but possible if you just point that direction, you know?
I feel like that was another short right there. I should cut that up all over TikTok, Facebook Reels, and everything.
How can I add the most value to your audience here, bro?
I really think that you are. I mean, like Total Tech says, much respect. Yeah, that's awesome, man. You're conscious.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is, I remember, like, I've been on podcasts and stuff before, and I remember being all like, dude, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? And what if this? And if I may mess up? And I don't know. So I prepared and I over-prepared and I over-prepared and I thought all the things. And it turns out nothing good ever really came of any of that. So I asked myself, in what areas am I really just trying too hard? For good reason. Trying really hard to make money. For good reason. Because we need it. Don't think I'm free right now. I got a lot of debt that I don't want to have. But I'll tell you what, it just doesn't get solved when I'm all messed up. It took me a long time to get myself in a lot better place than I was in. And it turned out that when I was in that better place, that's when the stuff around me started getting into a better place too. So like in my family right now, I'm understanding that a lot of the crap that my family's going through right now was because of the crap that I was going through, and damage was done. Again, I got to own this stuff. This is life. Yeah, it's business. Yeah, it's business. That's certainly part of it. It's a big part of it. But I needed fixed. I can't help anybody else if I'm messed up.
Mm.
And you can love that or hate it, but try it. Like, keep putting a mask on and keep going to work. It like you're I mean, you're gonna crash, man.
You know, it's funny. It's a few years ago. Well, I've been with my wife like 15 years now, bro. But I used to avoid certain emotions, and I would just bury myself in my work. And she would do anything to get my attention, even if she had to be negative or start an argument.
Mm-hmm.
And so, my wife she grew like in her maturity very fast, and then I leveled up, and then I grew in like you know, like what I love this thing about marriage is like sometimes you in your maturity you'll grow like this, and then if you have patience, then you come back together and you keep falling in love over and over. I'm like, I like just fell in love with you like all over. She's like, what do you mean you just fell? You weren't in love? I'm like, no, I'm just falling in love with you every day, woman. She's so exciting. So one of my point is we stayed up. It was like winter till like 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, just talking for like 4 or 5 days straight. We talked so much. We talked through it, and it was just her and I. Like no phones, no television, nothing. And it was just nonstop talking about her. Like, and we like bonded and talked through everything. And it was freaking incredible. And in those moments, I had to get to the point where I was like, bro, I don't care about work, because you can work and make money and get some money in the bank and do whatever. And then you hit this place where you're like, wait a second. What I was running from the saber-toothed tiger chomping away at my bottom line in total fear. And let's just say once you get financially stable and you think it's going to make you happy or worthy, and when it doesn't, it's like you come above this line. And for me, I was like, wait, there's nothing over here. It was a lie. I was just running in survival mode. That was my fuel. So
it's a carrot and a stick thing, man. It's like the stick's attached to you and the carrot's dangling there. If only I can get this and that, and we chase it and we go after it. Doesn't matter how hard you work, how strategic you are, it's always out of reach. There's always something else to go after. It's not.
This is one thing. I remember my wife and I had just left the dealership, and in 24 hours, we both got brand new cars. And we pulled up at our nice condo, and there was 2 brand new cars, like fresh off the lot, like boom. And I was like, it was a feeling of success. And literally like that night or the very next night, we ended up in an argument over dinner, and I was in severe emotional pain. And I was like, wait a second, there's 2 brand new cars. There's like $100,000 in cars sitting outside. And I'm in all this emotional pain. That doesn't even matter. Like, So what I meant is like, I went to this Tony Robbins event. I won't get too deep into it, a couple of them. And when I was there, I think no, I didn't call you, but when I was there, that I realized that I'm the Bentley, and your relationships are the Bentley. Your health is the Bentley. When you can have super high level connection and love in relationships and great communication and like that's the Bentley. Because if you have the Bentley, I'm just saying that, you know, like, but all that other stuff isn't working. It's falling apart. It's like, you lost, wrong. It's so society's conditioned us to, if you have a big business and success, and I'm bringing this up because you built a $2 million business with 20 employees. It's like, I love it how you've thrown yourself on the chopping block, and there's so little things that you've said that there's certain people listening and they'll be like, whoa, that's me right now. So thanks for like showing the minefield.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I can put flags up next to the mine so you don't step on them too. You know, I think that would be, helpful to people. But what I'm not going to do is sit here and say like, you're like, well, what turned it all around for you? I'm not going to be like, man, I just kept God first. And I just, got a lot of people saying that sort of stuff, but go ask my kids how it's going, don't ask me how it's going, go ask them. They'll tell you. Right. It's okay to ask for help. I've been on antidepressants. You asked how I got through those seasons. I needed help, man. I needed to go talk to somebody. And as men, we don't want to say that. You'll say that when you don't care about your image anymore. Maybe that'll flush out the fact that you're keeping up an image. People need help, man. It's okay. I don't know why I ever believed that it wasn't okay. I don't know why I ever believed that I needed to do anything more than what I could do. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, man, I know my best years are ahead of me right now. It may have taken me a little too long to get some of this stuff figured out, but if the people listening to this could take these things I'm saying, like this character thing I'm talking about, and make that your starting line on year 2 in business, bro, I'm telling you, your wife and your kids and your future and everything that you're going to be involved with is going to thank you, because your future needs a whole lot better version of you, not what you do. That's what people are going to remember, man. They're going to remember how you were when the crap went down. Not going to remember a book, man. They're not even going to want to read your book if you were a dick to them, Anyway. Boy, this got heavy, huh?
They're going to remember how you were when times were tough and how, yeah. Where I remember,
I didn't catch it.
I was just thinking about what you said. When times I remember when I first started my landscape business, I got sued by an insurance company because I got in a car accident, and I was so broke I didn't have any car insurance. And it was like a couple years before I had even met my wife, and I was getting all these bills in the mail for 20 grand and stuff. I was like, I can't afford to pay that. So they took my driver's license, and I was terrified, bro. I won't tell the whole story here, but anyways, I had to have a truck. My first truck was in my wife's name, and my car insurance was in her name. And I'm so deep in debt with debt collectors calling me, working 100 hours a week with bags under my eyes, just paying off debt collectors and paying off all that and settling that. It took 6 years, bro, of running in fear. And I'm just now thinking, who was I in those times? I was just this shaky, paranoid, running with my hair on fire, knowing that if I just work constantly and I keep finding a way to get money to pay off these debts, everything will be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. She stuck by my side.
You were doing the best you could with what you had.
Yeah. Bro.
And aren't we all? So I think just kind of understanding that's where we're all at. Like, it's like you're not a unicorn, you're like, I don't want to say you're nothing special, but like it's not a special case is what I mean. Right. So we're all doing the best that we can do. You're allowed to succeed. You're allowed to fail. But man, take some advice. And I'm not talking to you right now. I'm just saying, like, this is, I should have been a whole lot better at taking some advice early on. And I didn't know how to do that. But yeah, anyway.
I want to switch gears a little bit. Klein Lawn Care and Landscaping said something. Dutch Cut real quick said, mine too. First truck was under the girlfriend's name and insurance too. So you can relate. Klein Lawn Care and Snow Plowing says, which strategy do you use to get the most out of the spring rush? We are currently pursuing and recurring work. How do you turn the most leads into customers without discounting the work?
If you are looking for the greatest software ever to run your business on, go to getjobber.com/Keith. You can create proposals, invoices, collect payments, and track your entire business directly on the Jobber smartphone app. If you want to get a totally free trial of Jobber right now, open your browser, type in getjobber.com/Keith, and after the trial, if you decide to sign up with Keith's link, you'll automatically get 20% off your first 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Go to getjobber.com/Keith.
I'm assuming that you're Klein. I'm assuming that you're the owner operator, and that you're also doing the sales. Let me know in the chat if that's true. But I'm gonna go ahead and assume that. I think that the way to make the most out of the spring rush is to take it one customer at a time. It's only a rush to you. It's not a rush to them. And if they feel like it's a rush, then they're not going to feel like you got the time of day for them. So understand that you're talking to one person. Maybe you need to slow down, give them your full undivided attention. I actually, I got an ebook called the Sales Questions Playbook. It's just navigating a sales conversation. Maybe it be helpful for you, but it's, you dig deep, you find out what customers really need. It's never just mowing. Let's say spring rush. Somebody's like, yeah. What's it going to cost to cut the lawn? Real quick, I'd love to give you a quote. I got to ask, what made you call me? I mean, there's 1,000 other people, and they're going to answer. Okay.
Real quick, so I switched gears on Joel. If you get into the business stuff with Joel, he's a freaking scientist wizard with the business stuff, but we started off on a totally different foot, which is great. And so now we're in this portion, which is just happening all of a sudden. But see how his whole energy shifted?
Dude, I guess. Yeah, hey, am I about to go too deep here? Because I just
no, it's dude. You drop the right people will get that message, bro. It was all meant to be. That's what happens here. All right, now back to what you were saying. Back to the show.
What one customer at a time. I think it's very important to ask quality questions in order to flush out what's really important to your customers. Because again, this whole conversation has been about people. Well, your customers are people too. It's not just about cutting grass. It's okay. Why do you need your grass cut? Well, because I lost my job and I'm working too. I got to go. Who knows, man? But if you can touch that, then you can actually tailor a plan around that. Well, sir, I tell you what, man, if you just lost your job, look, I don't want to sell you anything that you don't need. But if you're going to be working 2 other jobs now, you're not going to have any time. That means nobody's going to be trimming the shrubs. Nobody's going to be fertilizing. Nobody's going to be dealing with the irrigation system. How much of that do you want me to take care of? And I'll do the best I can on the pricing. But you tell me, how can I help you out with that situation? Now you got a quote to this guy for all this other stuff. Well, guess what? When he gets his job handled, you will have been the guy that met him where he was. Just like I'm talking about this personal stuff, the first 50 minutes of this podcast, right? It applies here too. You meet that dude where he's at and you flush out the why behind whatever it is that they're asking for. You will have built a ton of trust and you were actually able to help him. But you just give him a quote for $45 or whatever it costs. I don't know. And you're just going to go on the dining room table with the other stack of quotes. So that's how you make the most of it, is you do every single customer the best you possibly can for them. And you make a win-win for them and you. It's not about a value statement, man. You just do a really great job with everybody that you come in contact with. And you'll find people that you can't work for, don't want to work for. They don't want you to work for them in that process. But here's the cool thing. When you dig real deep on the front end, you'll flush out whether or not y'all are going to be a good fit before you ever invest time in your office. See? So I think that's how you make the most of it. And that's not just a spring rush. I think that's just how you make most of any lead anytime you get one.
Charles Double in the comments says that you got him addicted to eating raw oysters.
Oh, come on, man. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, we grabbed dinner one night, man. We had a good time.
Charles Double's always posting positive and funny comments. I appreciate you, brother. He also says, thanks again for the man to man. That one part about seeking first the kingdom of God has certainly helped through the fire and hard times that arose.
Can I tell you something about that?
Oh, yeah,
One time I was getting all upset about something in my business. This wasn't even that long ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. And my son, who was 13 at the time, looked at me and he goes, "Dad, doesn't the Bible say to seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and then these things will be added to you?" I was just like, well, there's another bite of humble pie, you know? Like, oh, yeah, I love the verse, but it really changes the tone of it when it's your kid telling you after you screwed up. So yeah, that's the first thing I think of it every time somebody quotes that Matthew 6:33. I think it is. I love this stuff, man.
The Dutch cut, the ones I make real connection with, I almost always land them. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and so who's in charge of making that connection? Your customer just wants something. You know, like it's not just a happenstance kind of thing. Sometimes you got to dig a little deeper. Sometimes you got to navigate. I'm telling you, I would be more like a landscape marriage counselor when I meet people. And it sounds silly, and y'all are hearing the way I'm talking, so you're like, oh, I can see how that would be. No, it's like I'm talking to a husband and wife about a $55,000 whatever, and they're not in agreement on it. If I want a job, we got to connect somehow. And so I just took the responsibility for it. Well, sir, I hear your wife saying that what's really important to her is this, and this. Oh, okay. Well, ma'am, I hear your husband saying he don't want to pay for all of that. So where are we at on this? And I'd sit there for the 2-hour conversation. So you say the ones you make connection with, the ones that you land. Well, I would say, how much fortitude do you have to help them make that connection? I think that connecting is my responsibility. I don't ever want to leave that up to a customer.
So that's a pretty big job. That'd be a huge job for me. But our jobs that go from 7,500 to 20,000, the jobs that are bigger jobs for us, 10,000 and up or whatever. So I've noticed there's something I learned here. This was a gold nugget for me. Whenever I'm with like a husband and wife walking a property too long, I'm giving a quote and I'm starting to get antsy, like, oh, I got to get the hell out of here. I have to get to other quotes, and I'm starting to lose my patience. I remind myself, wait a second, that means I'm close to closing the deal. Let me just relax and get even more present and just invest this time, and then I'll close the deal instead of, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think what, to Klein's question, like, I know my manager is going on like 5 or 6 sales calls a day right now, and that's amazing. But if we're not careful, to what you just said, Keith, we'll end up in that thing where it's like, gosh, I can't spend all this time on this one because I got to get to the next one. Well, at that point, you're a professional appointment haver, you know? It's like you took your eye off of what you need, which is a sale, and you rush, so maybe your scheduling system needs to change. Maybe the way you schedule appointments needs to change. Maybe you need to go on 2 a day. And there's, so those are little course corrections that we've kind of learned over time. But you're absolutely right to say that being present for the one in front of you is the best way to sell a job. And why is it the best way to sell a job? Because it's the best way to connect with the person. Right. Like if you don't like the person at who makes your coffee at the local Starbucks, you'll either drive across town or go get a $2 cup from McDonald's. Like because the person in between you and the product matters a lot. There was a statistic, 72% of people who have left or not purchased something that they wanted did so because of the salesperson. 72% who didn't buy something that they really wanted chose to just not have it because of the person who is in between them and the product.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just thought of something. I don't like Skechers shoes. I don't wear them. They're not my style. But I was looking for some comfortable shoes for walking. And anyways, I'm just looking at shoes. There's a whole Skechers store down the street from my house in this big plaza next to another shoe store. I'm like, I'm just going to walk in there. I'm like, oh, I don't like any of these shoes. Then I walk out and then I walk back in because I really needed some freaking shoes, man. I'm like, I do not like Skechers. But then as I was walking out, there was this new style that they were pretty sweet. And they were right by the door. And I looked at them and I went to walk out and I looked at them again and I'm like, never mind. And then when I walked out the door, the lady who worked there, who was like a manager or something, she ran and grabbed me before I walked out that door. And she goes, hey, were you looking at those? And I was like, well, I don't know. She goes, those are the new style. Did you know they just slip? You can literally just pop your feet into them. You don't have to like bend over and tie them or anything. There's this new like technology or something. I'm like, what are you talking about? So she says, try it. Bro, I put my foot over the shoe and my heel went pop right into the shoe and it fit perfect. I was like, whoa, efficiency. Because I hate tying my shoes.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. I was like, do you got these for women too? And as a matter of fact, we do. Bro, I walked out, I dropped like $190 and I got 2 fresh pairs of shoes because the salesperson stopped me and showed me a benefit that I didn't see at first.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about efficiency. I brought them home. I told my wife, I'm like, I know like we don't really like wear Skechers shoes, but these are dope. And now she freaking loves them and she pops her feet into them. It's like,
yeah.
And so I was thinking about, but I actually thanked that sales lady. I said, I just want to say thank you so much because I was about to walk out of here frustrated because I really needed some shoes. And she's like, I knew that. And so it's like a salesperson took a moment. Now think about you. That could be a $20,000 job just to, boom,
Or it could be Klein knocking on a neighbor's door and say, hey, sorry for the intrusion. I just met with your neighbors. I gave them a quote for lawn care. And she really told me like, there's a lot of need there. I don't want to sell you something that you don't want. But if I could give you a quote for professional lawn care services, be it shrub trimming, lawn care, turf care, tree care, would that be something that would interest you? Well, why are you doing that? Are you doing that to make sales? Or are you doing that because, like the Skechers lady, she paid attention and she saw a need? If people got grass, they have a need. So if we could just get over this sales thing, it's not sales. You opened your eyes and somebody needs something, right?
Yeah. Are you trying to get out of the field? You say you're trying to get out of the field doing 2 sales? I don't get what he's saying here. Are you sick of doing sales? You want to completely out of the field and have a sales guy? Or do you want to get out of the field and just do sales? Because it feels to me that you're about to do one or the other. Because when you free up your time and you don't have to do all the manual labor and that's all you have to do is market and close jobs, collect money. And like, that's not right now, but in my business, I was at a point where I was just doing sales and marketing and making sure they were busy. All I had to do was meet appointments all day and just sell customers work and keep them busy. And so it's actually, I thought it would be so hard to do, but it actually became easy. And then I felt like I was going insane because I liked the physical labor so much and I wasn't getting enough exercise. I would pull up to the job where the guys are working and I would like show up if there would need to be like a small tree cut down or something. And then I'd be there for 20 minutes and then I would leave. And as I left, I would stop my truck and look back at them working and I'd have like this weird emotional, like I'm abandoning them. I'm like, I need to be there running. No, they don't need me. They're like, get the hell out of here. Like, we don't need you here.
That's
Go.
exactly what they're thinking. You beat me to it.
They wanted me to leave.
Yeah.
And they did a great job.
Exactly. And so that's when, even just like me as a dad, it's the same parallel. I hover over my kids so that they don't make mistakes and get themselves hurt. Meanwhile, he's like, dude, okay, Dad, let me do something, so like, just let me go have a chance to do a good job or something like that, and so then you go from being this hovering thing, keeping somebody down, to being somebody who can empower and encourage. Well, when I made that shift toward my employees, I realized like, my manager now has gone on more sales calls than I have. That's humbling. I'm over here teaching people sales, and my employees have now put in more plants than I have, and they've put in more patios than I have. They've plowed more parking lots than I have. So maybe they've learned something. I learned something, but maybe they're good at that too, So I should treat them that way. Not act like I'm the one who's got all the answers.
Dude, you just connected a huge dot for me. Wow. Anyways, okay, so my Aunt Ruthie, I actually said on the last podcast, I said we had Erica Crouppen on, and she's like, well, who's watching the show? Because I asked her a question, and she was like thinking about her answer. I said, well, this landscapers, these people, and my Aunt Ruthie. And my Aunt Ruthie just laughed really loud. I heard it. Anyways, ask yourself, why rush off to the next person we don't even know if they'll accept your bid? I'm just looking here.
Yeah, sure.
Be in the here and now and work from there. Yes. Klein says, have been in the field at least one day a week last season, trying not perform work any day of week. How do you guys provide great value for your employees and have God's glory shine through your actions, Joel?
Well, I think the way that you provide value is maybe don't figure out how you're going to provide value and just listen really well to what your customer in front of you is saying. Ask the questions that would reveal why they're saying that. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but instead of trying to add value or wanting to add value, like you can't just squeeze really hard and produce value. Value is only exchanged when there's somebody to receive it. And unless you know the value that they need, you got no chance of bringing it to them. If you're trying to sell something to somebody, now I'm gonna be real serious here. If you're trying to sell something to somebody and you are not clear on how you could add value to them, what are you selling them? You're just doing stuff. You want repeat customers? Find out how you could actually add value to them. Look, I'll tell you a story. I was selling pools for a pool contractor while I was running my business, and I went on this call, and it seemed like a slam dunk, man. This lady sat me down. Her husband was there. We're sitting there at their kitchen table, and she goes, "Man, I want a pool." My husband's like, "I think this is the year we're finally ready for a pool. We've looked at the pricing, man. Just let's take a couple look at designs and we'll go from there." And she got up to go walk out in the backyard to talk about where her new pool was going to go. I said, hold on. Can you just tell me, why do you want a pool? And she sat back. And honestly, Keith, I think that might have been the first time she thought about it.
What?
Look, she said, well, I just love being with my girlfriends, and we're just drinking a cocktail next to the pool and just chatting and having a great time. Gosh, we'll be over here 5 nights a week. And all you people hungry to sell a job, you're going to hate me for this. But I said, okay. So for $85,000, are you ever going to get in it? And she said, well, no, I don't think I want to get in the pool. I said, okay, well, here, let me make a suggestion then, because how about we spend half as much and make an outdoor living space that would perfectly position you to have this beautiful view of the lake, since you want to look at water and not get in it. How about we utilize this lakefront property that you already got for literally half as much money and put it into the outdoor bar with the fridge and all this sort of stuff, with the patio and the pergola over it, so you can actually have the room you want to sit in, not the water you want to sit next to. And, and as much as her mind was blown by that, I think the most profound thing in the room was the husband's sigh of relief that he didn't have to pay for the $8,000 pool. But I'll tell you what, I didn't sell a pool. I wouldn't get commission for anything other than a pool. But my point, though, is that when I found out how to add value to that lady, I was willing to offer something that didn't give me a win. You see?
That was more of a win, though.
Well, it genuinely helped them, but I didn't see a dollar from that. So I think, how do you add value? You find out what value that they actually need, and then be honest. Can I deliver on that, or can I not deliver on that? And just be honest. I mean, honesty is really undervalued. Think, like, the fear of being honest is probably what makes a lot of people put masks on. So yeah, you want to add the most value, bro. Just ask questions, and I literally asked your customer that question. Oh, they're the ones that are going to decide what's valuable to them or not. You decide if you can deliver, and y'all connect on it. No discounts, man. We offer discounts like it's a gimmick. You truly meet somebody's value, add value where they actually need it. Like, why you think Starbucks? I just bought a caramel ribbon crunch for my 13-year-old, and it was $8.35. I don't know how they rung it up, but it was $8.35. And I was grumbling about it. But then the look on my daughter's face, I realized why I was willing to pay that $8.35. See, the value was there because I want to give my daughter a great experience. Daddy, can we get Starbucks? Yeah, we're going to go have some time together. That's what I bought. That's what I bought. I didn't buy a caramel ribbon crunch. I didn't enjoy any of that, but I did enjoy the look on my daughter's face. Right? So it's not about coffee. It's not about lawn care. As much as you want it to be, you're a technician, so you think that way. Don't mean to be harsh, but that's that technician mentality. You think you're offering a product or a service. No, you're offering a solution to something you have no clue about. You get to that point where you can uncover that, and you're going to have customers for life.
That makes me think of something. If you're selling luxury outdoor living spaces, like, because 99% of landscaping is a luxury, I keep thinking, like, there's a story that this internet marketer, Eben Pagan, told one time. He's on stage. He's taught me a lot of stuff. And he said he always dreamed of having a Ferrari. One day he finally made a whole bunch of money, and the day came he bought the Ferrari. And he's driving in this clunky thing, and it's like, it's so low to the ground, it's hard to get in and out of it. You could feel every bump in the road. And he pulled up to his friend's house that he knew all the way since freaking elementary school. And he stopped. He said, I never actually stopped to really think, why have I wanted a Ferrari all these years? And it hit him like a ton of bricks. He goes, because all the way back in elementary school, he dreamed that he would have a Ferrari one day. And the first thing he would do is he would go to his best friend's house and knock on the door. His friend would come out, and they'd go for a ride in the Ferrari. That's all. And when he did that, he actually did it for real, and they went for a ride in the Ferrari. And then after a few months, he realized he didn't even like the car. And he ended up giving it away in something. But he's like, have you ever actually asked yourself why you want the things that you say that you want? So they want this freaking $85,000 pool that they're not going to get in. They're going to take care of it, maintain it, and it's a big pain. It's expensive. And you sold them a luxury outdoor living space with the pergola and the kitchen and all that stuff, so they can, because what they really want is they have this vision that they'll have good times, they'll have an experience, they'll build memories there. So it's like, It's not even logical at all. None of it is a need. You need a roof over your head, and you need water to drink and food to eat, and then it goes up the scale. So when you said uncovering what people need, I'm having all these like epiphanies. Well, as you were talking, that I was like, well, I'm a landscaper. I'm going to rip apart my backyard and turn it into a luxury outdoor living space and have a pond with koi fish and all these things. And I asked myself, as you were saying that, why do I even want that? I was like, so my family can come over and my wife and all this, and everybody can have a great time. And then I could be like, wow, I created this amazing space and everybody's having a good time. And it's an intangible thing. It's a feeling that we're seeking. And it's amazing that people will drop $55,000 to get that feeling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife and I will go through a Starbucks and get cinnamon dolce lattes, and it is freaking $15 or something. And I don't care because we're having a good time. It's like, it's interesting how, I'm sorry, you're going to say something?
No, you're dead on, man.
So how do you quantify the thing? Like, people need their grass cut. They could do it themselves. They need their bushes trimmed. If they get too much, they can get a fine from the city. But it's like, when it comes to $50,000 landscaping jobs, how do you quantify that? Because it's their imagination. They have disposable income. And then you get in and you sell it and close it. You're in the luxury service business.
Well, how does Starbucks quantify their coffee price? Who cares? I'm telling you, your customers don't care about how you quantify your price.
Or Apple computers. People pay all this money.
Who cares? Who cares? It's just a number. So make the number that you need to have it be, and then find out how you can exchange true value to your customers, and then do it. I mean, really, really connect. Really do it. And see, you wanted repeat customers? Watch that customer come back. That customer is not going to tire kick. You're a showstopper for them, you see? Because nobody else is doing that, man. They're all sending off quotes as fast as they possibly can because it's the spring rush, man. Let somebody come in. This is low-hanging fruit, guys, for whoever's watching, man. Go in and give somebody attention. In a digital Amazon scroll world, go give somebody attention. Answer your phone when it rings.
And just be calm and present and listen precisely. What are their needs? How can I help?
How about this? Customer calls, you answer your phone. Oh, wow, I was expecting to get voicemail. I've heard that 1,000 times. Hey, yeah, absolutely. What can I do for you? Can you email a quote for some lawn care? Sure. Do you mind if I just ask you a couple questions real quick? Like, why now on lawn care? Why us? Is there a particular reason now that you're wanting lawn care and not in the past? And you're going to flesh out all the reasons. Well, I had another guy and he kept on running over my downspout. Really? Okay. Does that need fixed too? Or, like, what's going on there? Why did that happen? And you keep digging. You're going to realize that they don't want lawn care. They want their time back. They want they want their energy level back. They just, whatever it is, that's what you're selling. So if you should not decide before a sales conversation what you're bringing to the table. You know what you're bringing to the table. You know what you can do or not do, Well, just get really comfortable with not having a direction that you're going to go when you're talking to somebody. Let them tell you everything that you need to know. And you decide if it makes sense for you to deliver on that. Price is it's part of it, sure. But I guarantee nobody in this podcast right now is price gouging. You all probably got margins too slim, honestly. Go back and look at your numbers and ask yourself, does this actually get me where I want it to go? If not, raise it. Who cares? Go be who you need to be for your customers and let them decide if they're going to pay for it or not. Don't figure out how you're going to insert yourself into their life. Go find out how you can add value. If you can't add enough value, learn and get better at what you're doing. Keith's over here making content. If he wants his content to get to more people, he needs to make better content. You don't need to trick somebody. You know what I'm saying? Keith, you're awesome, by the way. I'm not saying nothing by that. You see what I'm saying? Like, own it. Take responsibility for it.
No, I laughed because I uploaded a video yesterday and it was getting 1,000 views a minute.
Wow.
I got 255,000 views, and it just kept going up. And so we're messing with content formulas, but I actually deleted it because it was it's a different story, but I'm experimenting with content, and it was something that made me look like a jackass, and everybody's, this guy's an idiot, but it was taking off, so it's never mind.
Did you have that gold chain on again?
Oh no, we did that. That must have got 200,000 views.
Yeah.
This one, I've got way more gold than this. We're gonna bring out this character soon in another
There
video.
he is.
It's gonna be hilarious. I got the grill and everything. Well, man, I don't want to take too much of your time.
You're not.
Anything else that you want to cover? Anybody have any questions for Joel Kouski from Kouski Landscaping? $2 million business, 20 employees. Dude, loves Jesus. He wrote a book. What is the name of it? Dear Jesus? Is that the name of the book you wrote?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dear Jesus. I wrote another book called Landscape Sales, and both are on Amazon.
Look this up. Landscape sales. Okay, we got some questions coming in. Hey, with the For You podcast, running a landscape business in Australia. Awesome. It's clean. So, anything else you want to talk about, bro?
Is everybody in this podcast, these are business owners? Yeah.
Mostly, yeah. Or people that want to start a business.
Yeah. Good for you guys.
He says, do you find it more proficient to pay by the hour or by the job when you pay your employees? How do you pay them?
I pay them hourly, and I wish I could pay them by job, but if I treat that part of my business the same way that I've been talking about this people thing, I asked them, which would you rather have? It's literally the same way I'm talking about doing sales, guys. Like, I asked them, would you rather be paid by the hour or by the job? What would make most sense to you? Because before I go making decisions, I want to know the impact. I want to pay by the job and then hold them to an hourly standard, to a budget, and here's your dollar amount for the job. And I tried it. But when I asked them for feedback, it was, but boss, what if something happens? What if something goes wrong? What if we run short? Or what if we got extra, all of those things. And I realized that if I was going to make that happen, I had to track all that stuff. And every job was going to be a case by case basis. It was going to be a huge workload. So it would be better for me to pay them hourly and then have a really great culture of support that would empower and encourage these guys to do the best job they possibly could, and give them a clear design, clear instructions, have the foreman walk the job with the designer and the customer, just to get on the same page. There were several other things I could do that made hourly work well without it getting taken advantage of. And that's good, because then my guys get a paycheck, even if crap does hit the fan. And I want that for them. Does that mean that I make less money? Yeah. So I raise my price. That's exactly what I did. Mm-hmm. I raised my price also when I wanted to give them healthcare. I raised my price. I made customers pay for it because that's business.
Nice.
Like, there was a dude I talked to a while back as a friend of mine. His name is Tim. He had a gutter company with like 5 different locations. And I asked him, like, how do you make money and deal with price and stuff like that? And he's like, just raise it. If it needs raised, raise it. Just, like, you're not making enough money, raise your price. Well, I can't sell any jobs. Okay, then let's deal with that. Because again, if I'm buying an $8.35 caramel ribbon crunch, they can raise their price. And people who probably shouldn't be buying Starbucks are still buying it with $86 in their bank account. They're still eating, they're still doing it. Why? They're touching some need there. So surely you can sell a lawn care service for 75 instead of 72, you know?
Yeah, the people who say no to you are literally going to Best Buy and buying a big screen TV or the furniture store and walking out with a $5,000 couch that weekend. It's crazy how irrational money spending is.
Yeah, right. So just, don't take the price thing too seriously, Any tips for employee manuals and management?
Kevin Venezuela, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Can I answer that?
Yeah.
Use AI, bro.
Ah, that's so powerful.
Just ask ChatGPT, hey, here's 9 things that are important to me. What else do I need to have in an employee manual? Or here's something I do with AI a lot. Ask me questions so that I can come up with answers so that you know me, and then write an employee manual out of all of that. See, because like, how do you write it? You don't even know the right questions to ask. So tell AI to ask you questions, to extract information out of you, so that now it builds it with what you know.
Freaking amazing.
Right? So you'll have something in no time, and keep it simple. What's a priority to you?
I do have a quick
when
plug.
my guys show up at 7, so tell them to show up at 7,
We do have the 16 documents that you must have all employees sign. Well, at least in my business, it's what I use. It consists of about 43 pages. These 16 documents, you could print them out or do it digitally, but they're fully editable. They're PDFs and Word docs. You can get them all in a full document pack if you open up your phone and type in keithkalfas.com/16. And then there's an upsell. It's the fully editable employee handbook.
Nice.
And you can get all of that if you go to that, if you need help with that. He said, AI, Charles Double says, a lot of landscaping Facebook groups have customizable handbooks. Oh, that's sweet. Okay.
Nice.
All right, bro. I love it. He said, the For You podcast, the 2 gents are doing amazing work. Hopefully those looking to build their own appreciate it. And thank you, sir. Appreciate you too. All right, bro. We're going to have Joel on the Untrapped Alliance Private Breakthrough Mentorship. We're doing a workshop next. We do this on Wednesday nights. And it is, let me just look at. So if you want to be part of this private group and dive really deep on specifics. Oh, it's going to be this Wednesday night. So it's Monday right now. It's Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Joel's going to be on for about an hour to 90 minutes going deep on growing your business, sales, and solving problems specifically. I love it, man. And how you can get to that by going to keithkalfas.com/alliance if you want to get in the group chat and learn. What else is on your mind, bro, before we wrap this up?
I want to say something to the people that are watching this and that are going to watch it at some time in the future. The guy hosting this podcast, just so I want you to know Keith when he's on the other end of my phone, not just when he's on the other end of this podcast. Keith is probably the most willing to give up what he wanted, or willing to give up what he thought it was going to be in order to be corrected. He is probably the most correctable person. Not that I've given him a bunch of correction. I'm not saying that. His humility and his willingness to throw it all away for the next, for what is more important, even if it will cost him, even if it's more work. There are few people in this world that I've come in contact with that are like that. And he didn't tell me to say this. I just want you guys to know who you're listening to here. Okay? Because that's affected me. When you talk to somebody who has that level of humility, that they'll just call and say, dude, I get this thing is happening. What do you make of that? That's rare. That's a humble person. And here he is with all these followers and all these channels. But he asks. that level of humility is amazing. So again, I want you guys to know who you're looking at over here, right? It's a real dude with a real life, but with really healthy qualities about him. So he's a good dude to follow. He's a good dude to let have influence in your life. And Keith, I really appreciate the things that you've taught me, and just we've had a lot of this back and forth stuff, man. So you've absolutely helped me, and you're a great dude, man. Hope you keep doing what you're doing.
Likewise, I appreciate the observation, bro. It really means a lot to me, and I'm very honored that you took your time to be on the show. And also, I'm thankful for everybody else here. And it's springtime 2025. This is the time to go after it. You can go back and listen to this live on, the replay on Apple and Spotify. You can listen to it while you work if you tuned in late and missed anything. Sorry. I'm talking funny because I get these Invisalign put on my teeth about 5 hours ago because I want my teeth straight like Joel's. And I'm getting used to them here. But thank you so very much for being on my show, brother. And thank everybody for tuning in to the Untrapped Podcast. We just crossed 850,000 downloads and we're headed towards 1 million. Wow. So super excited. Anywhere your favorite podcast is, that's where we're at. I'll put all the information about Joel in the show notes. And how can anybody find you, Joel?
Type my name in. I got a weird last name. There's only one of me. At Joel Kouski on any platform.
Spell your name for the people listening.
Kouski. That's my last name.
Joel Kouski. And I love your new YouTube channel, bro. It's intense. What is that?
Same thing, at Joel Kouski. Yeah.
Perfect. You got to check out his YouTube channel. It's fire, bro. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys Wednesday night on the Untrapped Alliance, 8 p.m. KeithKalfas.com/alliance. Good night.
Hey, I hope you liked the show. And if you like the Untrapped Podcast and you get value from it, can you please take a minute and go over to Spotify and leave it a well-worded positive 5-star review? It helps boost the rankings on Spotify so the show can get to more people. Therefore, these messages can get out to more people and inspire more people so then they can go out and start their small businesses and crush it and get to the next level. It's a huge deal. All right, I'll see you in the next show.